Hello, beautiful people. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, hey, look at that. Perfect timing. My dad just subscribed. Dad, if you're watching, hello. I think Holly's watching. Hi, Holly. And one other person who I'm very thankful for you being here. How is everybody doing today? I hope we're doing lovely. All right. How we doing? Anyone's there? I'm doing all right. I'm pretty tired actually, but we are going to be continuing our journey to predict the record of every single team in the NFL. Today we're going to be doing the AFC South. Sorry, I could not get my visuals ready for the AFC West, so I'm sorry, but we're only doing the AFC South today. Is my microphone is not muted, so that's always a good thing. All right, 61 days. 61 days. Oh, Owen's it. Hi, Owen. How's it going? Number one fan right here. He's always been in here. But 61 days till the Lions and Chiefs kick off. Detroit's about to get their backs blown out by Patrick Mahomes and company. But that's all right because I'm feeling good about the season. But I'll stop talking about the Lions because today isn't about the Lions. We're going to have a pretty short stream. Sorry about that. But yeah, just a reminder, I'll be here pretty much every Sunday at some point, hopefully around 3 o'clock. But as Holly knows, we will have some Braves games to go to because the Braves are dominating the MLB this season, which is good for me because I get to watch and pay attention to that, keeping me entertained while we wait for football. Like I said, 61 days till we get to see the gift of NFL football again. But until then, all we have to do is talk about it. So without further ado, let's just jump right in to my my predictions. All right, I got this cute little visual again, but before we get started, I just want to say a few things about the AFC South that need to be said, and that is they suck. I'm sorry. I apologize if you're a fan of any of these teams except for one, and you probably know which one. But I'm sorry. This isn't going to be pretty if you're a fan of any of these teams. Okay. Let's just get this underway. This is going to be the worst division in football by far. Not even close. I know the NFC South was pretty bad last season, but AFC South is where it's at. In terms of terrible football teams. But anywho, let's just get started with the Houston Texans here. The Houston Texans, they were, I know the Bears had the worst record last season, but the Texans, they might be worse. This is my second to last team in my power rankings at the end of 2022. I do think this team is going to be much improved. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised with the talent on this roster. Will Anderson and CJ Stroud, some of the big names. I think D'Amico Ryans is going to be a good head coach. But, building a good football team, especially in the NFL, sometimes it's going to take a while. I know. I've waited 6 years for the Lions to have a winning record again. And we only got that by one win. We didn't even make the playoffs this year, hopefully, but I think the Texans are in a similar boat. But let's just get it started here. All right. So, week 1. If you watched my last live stream, you already know the result of this game. But the Texans are going to they are going to lose week 1 to the Baltimore Ravens. No questions there. Now this is where it gets interesting. They have a home game against the Colts. I actually have them losing this game. But I might change my mind just because I'll talk about this more when we do the Colts schedule, but it's seeming more every day. It seems like Anthony Richardson is more likely to be the starter on the Colts team week 1. So we might have a CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson battle, if you could say. And I think the Texans defense might be slightly better than the Colts. I do like the Colts coaching, I think, but I think I like the Texans coaching Colts obviously had a better track record of, having a good football team. But for now, 0-2. 0-2 start for the Texans. This is at the Jacksonville Jaguars. They aren't going to win this game. All right. Hey, we made the NFC Championship once. Barry Sanders, that was a good year until we got blown out by the Washington Redskins back in the day. I wasn't there to watch it, Dad. I know you were. Let's not relive those memories. We have an exciting team coming up, but let's continue to talk about these god-awful, these NFL teams, because, woo! Yeah, AFC South, weakest division. Home, if you watched the last podcast, again, you know this was a loss at the Steelers. So an 0-4 start for the Houston Texans. All right, Atlanta fans, to all my Falcons fans in the audience right now, because I know there's a couple of you. I know I've been hating on y'all a little bit just because I think you guys are overhyping your team a lot. My dad and I know, and Atlanta radio, they're projecting like an average of 11 wins for the Falcons, and I'm sorry, but that's not going to happen. But you can beat the Texans in Atlanta. I'm not that, like, y'all aren't bad. You aren't that bad. So, yeah, you're going to have, that's a solid, okay. Yeah, that's a win for Atlanta. But 0-5 start for the Houston Texans. Week 6 home game against the Saints. I'll finally give it to you, okay? I'll give the Houston Texans their first win solely because I think the coaching on the New Orleans Saints is going to be that bad. I don't think the coach, Dennis Allen is his name. I don't like him as a head coach. I feel like this Saints team is going to be extremely talented, but the talent might be wasted kind of with the coaching. And you got Derek Carr as your quarterback, who's good, but he's not elite by any means. All right. Bye week 7, kind of early bye week. Moving on, coming out of the bye. Panthers are also coming out of a bye. That's a loss. Bryce Young versus CJ Stroud. This is going to be a fun game to watch. I think the Panthers, I like Frank Reich better as a head coach. They also got, I think his name is Ejiro Evero. He used to be the defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos, now defensive coordinating the Carolina Panthers, and I think he'll do a great job. There's some good stars on this Panthers defense in Carolina. Give Carolina the win. All right, now home game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Here you go. Here you go, Texans fans. I'll give you the W here because I think the Buccaneers are going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL next season. If you look at their roster, okay, their roster isn't that bad. You got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. You got a top 10 defense, but you also have Todd Bowles as your head coach and Baker Mayfield as your quarterback. And we've all seen that clip of Baker Mayfield already in midseason form. We know that clip. We all seen him at practice. It's not going to be pretty. So that's a win for the Houston Texans, putting them at 2-6. Now, this is an away game at Cincinnati. There's no shot the Texans are winning that game. 2-7. I don't need to say anything else. Week 11. Arizona Cardinals are not projected to win a single game next season. They're going to win some. And I think by week 11, Kyler Murray will be playing on the team. So I'm going to give it a loss for the Texans. I feel like I am doing them dirty right here. But I don't think Arizona would have won a game yet. They're going to be hungry. 2-8 for the Houston Texans. Moving on to the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of people have the Texans winning this game from what I've seen. Wouldn't be shocked. Honestly, I think Jaguars defense is really bad. I feel like the Texans are going to have a better defense than the Jaguars. And if CJ Stroud plays like he did in college, would not be shocked if the Texans win this game. But I think the Jaguars are headed upwards. Second year in a Doug Peterson system. I think they're only going to get better from what they did last season. They have the momentum on their side. That's a loss for the Houston Texans. I am sorry, Texas fans. Week 13 at the Denver Broncos. All right, we'll talk about this more next week when we do the AFC West. But the Denver Broncos, look, Russell Wilson has had one bad year in his career, and it's when he's had a bad coach. Now he has Sean Payton as his head coach, who, turned Drew Brees into a Hall of Famer. And this is also, this is a home game, but I do think the Denver Bronco defense is significantly outperforms the Houston Texans defense. That's another loss for the Texans. So 2-10. Moving on to Week 14, home game, or this is an away game at the New York Jets in the winter. I don't know if is MetLife indoors. I don't know, but I don't think it's going to matter because I think the Jets are going to win this game easily. 2-11. I'm sorry, Texans fans. All right, divisional matchup against the Tennessee Titans. That's a loss. A tough divisional game in Tennessee. Tennessee has the home field advantage. I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans. Moving on to Week 16. Home game against the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson revenge game. If you watched the stream last week, again, you would have known the record prediction for this game. But, yeah, keeping it. That's a loss for the Houston Texans. So 2-13, 2 games left of the season, 2 divisional matchups that are always good games to watch, might I add. Home game against the Tennessee Titans. It's very tough for a team to beat a team twice in 3 weeks, especially in the NFL. So that's a win. 3-13 for the Houston Texans, and I'm not done there. A win Week 18 against the Colts. They finally started figuring things out. And honestly, next season you get another draft under your belt. You get another free agency. And I think this team will ascend. I think in 2024, the Houston Texans might have a winning record. I'll go off on a limb and say that. And also, I am trying really hard to get my audio and video synced up the best I can. But there's a good chance that it's not. So if it's not, feel free to let me know, and I will attempt to fix it. But we'll move forward. Ooh, what the heck? Ooh. All right. Oh yeah. So if you want to know the Texans' record, 4-13. Final 4-13. That's not getting you in the playoffs. I probably didn't have to say that. Well, let's see. Let's move on to our other teams. All right. Now we have the Indianapolis Colts. Texans were my second to last ranked defense. No, second to last ranked team in 2022 at the end of the season. The Colts were the worst team in the NFL ending the season last season. They were last in my power rankings, and those are the most professional power rankings you are going to get. Most accurate, might I add, as well. So, Colts were the worst team ending the season last season. But now, new Colts team, what I've been hearing is Anthony Richardson is ascending tremendously. There's a lot of rumors that he's going to start week 1 instead of Gardner Minshew. And if I'm being honest with myself, that sounds good if I'm a Colts fan. If Anthony Richardson is progressing that much, or it could be just Gardner Minshew sucks. Might also be that. But either way, I predicted this thinking that the Colts quarterback situation is not going to be pretty. Now, maybe the offensive line is going to figure some things out. I don't think this defense is going to get better. I think it'll actually get worse now that Isaiah Rodgers has been suspended and released by the Colts in the NFL. But anyway, starting off week 1 for the Colts, that's a tough game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who I said are an ascending football team coming off of a loss in the divisional round against the Kansas City Chiefs. They did have a monster comeback against the Los Angeles Chargers in the second half of that game, but the Colts are going to lose to the Jaguars. Easy enough. Moving on, if you were here earlier when I was predicting the Texans schedule, you would have known that I had the Colts winning this game. So 1-1, but I think if Anthony Richardson's on the field, I think I'd rather have CJ Stroud than Anthony Richardson, if I'm being honest. So that might change a few things, but for now I have the Colts winning that game on the road week 2. Week 3 at the Baltimore Ravens. Again, if you watched my last stream on last Sunday, I had the Ravens winning this game. So that's a 1-2 start for the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts and Rams game, week 4, that's an interesting game, all right, to say the least, because the Rams are a very confusing team. They have some stars on that team, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, but the rest of the team is terrible. You got maybe even a Hall of Fame coach in Sean McVay. But I'm going to give this one to the Rams. I think their offensive starters outweigh and outperform the offensive starters on the Colts. So that is a 1-3 start for the Indianapolis Colts. I have them losing at home to the Tennessee Titans. They always lose to the Tennessee Titans. I would pull up the record for you, but I didn't prepare that in advance like last time. Sorry, but they always lose to the Titans. It's just how it is. Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, I do like the coaching on the Tennessee Titans. Offensive line and defense are other stories, but 1-4 start for the Colts. Week 6 against the Jaguars again. 1-5. Yeah, I don't have them winning. Usually, all right. To be fair, they usually win a game against the Jaguars, but now the Jaguars are up here. Up here, Colts are down here. Yeah. Moving on to week 7. This is a home game against the Cleveland Browns. This is going to be a very entertaining game, but I think the Browns are better than the Colts on both sides of the ball. So naturally, I'm going to have the Browns winning that one. 1-6 for the Indianapolis Colts. I told you this division is it's not good. It's not good at all. Okay, well, hold that thought. But week 8 against the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans Saints are a very talented football team. You know, I've been saying this. I just don't like the coaching on this team. If they had a different coach, things would be different. But they're still going to beat the Colts, though. So that is a 1-7 start for the Indianapolis Colts. Moving on to week 9 against the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young versus Anthony Richardson. Most likely, week 9 is an away game in Carolina. Colts aren't winning that game. Week 10 against a monster New England Patriots defense and Bill Belichick. That's a loss as well. Actually, that's not in New England. I believe this game is... It might be in Germany. Yeah, I think this game's in Germany. This is one of the Germany games. And then I'll have you know that the Chiefs-Dolphins game in Germany sold out in 14 minutes. It took 14 minutes for every single seat in that stadium to be gone. And I think there was like 1 million people or something like that in queue waiting for tickets. It's insane. Anyways, the NFL bye week, I think the Colts will survive the NFL bye week. You know, it's a very tough opponent there, but week 12 coming off the bye. Here you go, Colts fans, something to look forward to. Another win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You already heard me say that I think the Buccaneers are going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. Coming off a bye, a home game for the Indianapolis Colts. Give them the win. And you already know what I said about them against the Titans. They're going to lose 2-10. Week 14, Cincinnati Bengals, away game. Colts aren't winning this game. 2-11. If you watched my last stream, you know that the Steelers are going to win this game. Despite it being a home game for the Indianapolis Colts, I think the Steelers are going to be a better team on both sides of the ball. Week 16 against the Atlanta Falcons, we have a loss. There you go, Falcons fans. See, I don't hate the Falcons. The Falcons are going to win games they're supposed to. Actually, knowing the Falcons, they'll probably win games that they're not supposed to and then lose the games they are. That's just how it is, I guess. Week 17. Now, the Colts always play the Raiders good. They beat them last season in Las Vegas. Raiders were not pretty for the beginning of the season last season. Colts weren't pretty at the end. But I don't think the Raiders are going to be that good either. Sorry, Evan. But that is a W for the Colts. So 3-13, and you already saw what I did for the Texans last time. They're gonna end the season on the loss, making the Colts 3-14. Might be the worst record in the AFC. Honestly, this might be the worst team in the AFC. If I'm being, I think you know what? Yeah, I think they are. Unless Anthony Richardson can pop off and show us that he deserves to be a starter in the NFL, I think the Colts are going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL and potentially the worst team in the AFC. All right. So after that, we'll move on to the Tennessee Titans, and it's the same old story. It's the same old story. This division is very. I'm not quite used to this one yet because when I first started watching football, the Tennessee Titans were terrible. But since then, they've improved significantly. They were the 1 seed like a couple years ago, lost to Joe Burrow and the Bengals, but they also upset the number 1 seeded Ravens and went to the AFC Championship game. So, I like Mike Vrabel. I like this Tennessee coaching staff, but their roster, man, it is just not the prettiest thing you've ever seen in the world. But we'll get started on their schedule. So week 1, this is an away game in New Orleans. I told you how talented I think the Saints team will be, assuming everyone stays healthy, but that's really hard to do in the NFL. But that's going to be an 0-1 start for the Tennessee Titans. You have a home game against the Los Angeles Chargers. Los Angeles Chargers might be a little bit overrated. I don't like the coaching on this team, but the roster is very complete. Unlike the Tennessee Titans, that's a loss for the Tennessee Titans. If you watched my last stream, you know that these 2 games are losses. An away game at the Cleveland Browns and a home game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Tennessee Titans are not going to win that. They started 0-3 last season. I think they're going to start 0-4 this season. Sorry, Tennessee Titans fans, but look, week 5 against the Colts in Indianapolis, you will get a win. So that's a first win for the Tennessee Titans. Come in week 5 against the Indianapolis Colts. Now you have a game in London, might I add. A London game against the Baltimore Ravens. No. Tennessee Titans are not winning this. Look, the Tennessee Titans, they have Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill is getting kind of old, kind of looking for somebody to replace him. Is Will Levis that guy? I don't know, man. But there's not a lot of receivers on this Tennessee Titans team. And they did draft Peter Skoronski, which I thought was a very good move. He was an offensive tackle, big boy from Northwestern. This was the worst offensive line unit in the league last season. Maybe it won't this season, but it's still going to be pretty bad. I mean, one player isn't going to shift the whole thing around unless it's like a quarterback or something. But, all right, week 5, I think the Titans are going to handle the bye week. They'll be all right. Coming off the bye, all right, Falcons fans, this is when you start getting mad because I have the Tennessee Titans beating the Atlanta Falcons. I think the Tennessee Titans are fully capable of beating the Atlanta Falcons. Sorry, guys. It's a Southern rivalry. All right? Someone just left. Someone's mad. Someone just left. But 2-5 start for Tennessee Titans. Things don't look like they're going awry quite yet. But we'll see what happens. If you watched my last stream last week, you know that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win this game against the Tennessee Titans. They're better on both sides of the ball. Week 10 at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a loss, a rare win for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next season. But I feel like Tennessee, Tampa Bay, I feel like it's always a good, entertaining game. But going to give the edge to Tampa since they have the home field advantage. Week 11, the third straight away game for the Tennessee Titans. Look, they always play the Jaguars tough, but the Jaguars swept them last season. I think the Jaguars are going to get better. So, yeah, I think the Jaguars are going to win this game. They're going to be Tennessee Titans 2-8 headed into week 12. A home game against the Carolina Panthers. Now, if this happened like at any other point in the season, I might pick the Tennessee Titans to win this game, but this is happening smack dab in the middle of the season. That's a loss. I think the Panthers are going to have momentum. Bryce Young's going to figure things out with Frank Reich as his head coach. I think this team, the Carolina Panthers, might be over 10 wins. Maybe. But I have them losing. I have the Tennessee Titans losing to the Carolina Panthers. Now, moving on to week 13, you already know I have Tennessee Titans beating the Indianapolis Colts. Tennessee Titans just always seem to beat the Colts in recent years. Week 14 against the Miami Dolphins. Tennessee Titans, assuming Tua Tagovailoa's head is still attached to his body at this point in the season, Tennessee Titans are going to lose that game. Now, things could change. I don't think honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Mike White can beat the Tennessee Titans. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Week 15, home game against Houston Texans. It's a win. An away game in Seattle late in the season. That's a loss. Ain't no way they're winning that game. Sorry, Seattle Seahawks are winning that game. Again, it's really hard to beat a team twice in 3 weeks. So 4-12 for the Tennessee Titans, and going to close off the season with a loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So this is a very low record for the Tennessee Titans, 4-13. And I'm really not used to seeing this. I feel like they might scrape out a few more wins here and there, but yeah, it's I don't think the Tennessee Titans are going to be very good, and they have this division's really bad. They'll have plenty of divisional wins, but as far as outside of the division, you got to play teams like the Bengals and the Dolphins, like Seahawks, Chargers, Ravens. Like that is a brutal schedule. But yeah, sorry Tennessee Titans fans. I know y'all aren't used to that quite as recently, but I don't think this next season is going to be your favorite football season to watch. But anywho, moving on to our last and final team. Now this, I must have a Titans fan in here because someone left. But this is the team we've all been waiting for. Coming up next, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now this team, I am so excited for because they remind me a lot of the Lions. They're just like kind of bad every time, but once they start to do good, it like brings joy to me. I don't know, because they're never a team that's like doing good. They rarely win their division. That's a lie. I've seen them win it twice, but they usually just come out of nowhere and surprise everyone. So I hope they don't fall off again. But with Doug Peterson as your head coach, he's a Super Bowl winner. Trevor Lawrence, ascending football player. He's going to be a great football player. And then you got Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, Travis Etienne. This offense is going to be great. I think the defense is going to be pretty bad. But, hey, with the right coaching, who knows? This team can hang on and make a run in the playoffs even. So, anyway, starting off week 1, we already know this is a win for the Jacksonville Jaguars. An away game against the Indianapolis Colts. Moving on, we have a home game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Sorry, it's Patrick Mahomes against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Chiefs' defense is also going to be pretty good. That's a loss. Sorry, you already know. 1-1. Week 3 against the Houston Texans. You already know I have the Jacksonville Jaguars winning. I actually have the Jaguars going 6-0 in the division. That probably won't happen. A team will probably beat them eventually, but Jacksonville Jaguars, once they started rolling next season, they dominated the Houston Texans. Like, it was not close. Moving on to week 4. This is the first of a 2-game series in London for the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Atlanta Falcons. Sorry, Falcons fans, you're not beating the Jaguars in London. That's like basically home field advantage for them. Yeah, that's just not happening. I hate to say it. Anyways, week 5. All right, I have the Bills winning. I'm going to be honest. I have the Bills winning. I think their defense is better, and they have Josh Allen on the team. But it's in London. Anything can happen. I think this Jacksonville Jaguars team can compete. And look, they beat the Bills when they sucked. So, yeah, I remember this. The Jaguars were like a 3-win team, and they beat the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills were like AFC Championship caliber. Anyone else remember that? I remember that. But anyways, wouldn't be shocked if the Jaguars win that game, but I'm going with the Bills so far. So that's a 3-2 start. Week 6 against the Colts. Jaguars are winning that game 4-2, okay? 4-2 start for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, week 7 against the Saints. This might be prime time. Yeah, I believe this is a Thursday night football game, and I believe the Jaguars will win it. I trust Trevor Lawrence over more than Derek Carr in that situation. I also trust Doug Peterson more than I do Dennis Allen. 5-2 for the Jacksonville Jaguars, picking up some momentum, but I will say they take a loss at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers might be a slightly better team. Might get some heat for that. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars offense will be much better than the Steelers offense, but I think the defense significantly, the Steelers defense is going to significantly outweigh the Jaguars defense. Bye week, the Jaguars take the bye week like a champ. coming out of the bye week. You have a home game against the 49ers. Jaguars are not winning that. That is a tough team to play. Yes, the 49ers have to travel all across the country, but they also have a guy named Christian McCaffrey on this team. So, yeah. Loss for the Jaguars. 5-4. Things are looking scary here. They're 5-4. Not really, though, because the rest of the division has like one win at this point. But moving on to the Tennessee Titans. 6-4. Easy. At the Houston Texans. Wouldn't be surprised if the Texans win this game, but still giving it to the Jaguars. 7-4. Week 13 against the Bengals. Woo! This is going to be some entertaining football right here. I am excited for this game. The Bengals at the Jaguars. I would not be shocked if the Jaguars win this game. You already know I have the Bengals winning. But this is... I'd love to watch this game. All right. If you watch the other stream, Cleveland Browns and Baltimore Ravens are both going to lose to the Jaguars. I think this is the point in the season where the Jaguars start picking up steam. They're rolling. They're getting wins left and right. And I think they end the season on a 5-game win streak. You have a away game at the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers aren't good. Another rival Florida team, if you will. But, yeah, I have the Jaguars winning that one. Home against the Carolina Panthers. Like I said, the Carolina Panthers are also going to be a much improved team, but it's in Jacksonville, okay? I think the Jaguars' offense is going to be a good bit better. I think this offense is going to be scary. So take some Jacksonville Jaguars offensive fantasy players. That would be a smart move to make, if you ask me. Now, headed into Week 18, the final week of the season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. This game is always tough. It's always an entertaining one against the Tennessee Titans, but I have the Jaguars winning and ending the season 12-5. I didn't mean to move that, man. 12-5. There we go. So a 12-5 season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. This might have them more than a 4 seed. Although the AFC, like I said, time and time again, is going to be extremely good. So the bar is going to be up here for teams in the AFC. If you're the 1 seed in the AFC, there's a good shot you're winning the Super Bowl. But also not, because it's a good shot the teams you play are also going to be number 1 seed talent material. And then the NFC, you have the Eagles and 49ers and nobody else. But anyways, that concludes today's stream. This is a short one compared to the other ones I've done, but that's on me because I didn't prepare enough stuff. But I thought we'd just do the simple record predictions. I love making predictions. They're always better than Adam Schefter's. So here you go. Come here instead of watching Adam Schefter make picks, because they aren't usually that good. But either way, I hope everyone has a great day. If you disagree with me, don't feel free to let me know, man. Just like yell at me in public, shame me. I probably deserve it. But yeah, this is what's probably going to happen in the AFC South. And with that being said, I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. I hope you don't step on any Legos, and I hope you find a penny walking on the side of the road. And with that, goodbye, and I'll see y'all next time. Next week, we're doing the AFC West. So, be here. Don't miss the AFC West. It's going to be a very entertaining division. You got Patrick Mahomes, Chargers, Russell Wilson, Sean Payton,